be much worse. So yeah. Okay. Thanks for your thoughts. Welcome along, everybody. We've got a wonderful panel today. We've got Lisa back with us 2 days in a row. How blessed are we, especially after your calls yesterday, Lisa? Wow.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, they were pretty good. So not doing too bad. Not doing too bad.
So no pressure for the people that we're talking to today to have the best performing project ever, eh?
They've had an epically performing project. So, World Token so far has, since we've been trading it, we have done, let me tell you, we've done like 175% on World Token. So it's been an epic trade so far. So, and, still a lot more to go because there's so much happening with World.
Now, have we? Is Benjamin still with us here? Did he drop off?
Yeah.
Oh, you are, Benjamin. That's the difficulty when we can't see you. I'll have to find another screen here. So, listen, welcome along. We've got Benjamin with us from World Token, and Stefano. Thank you for jumping on. You're somewhat of an NFT and gaming expert, so expecting some very good questions from you during this chat.
Very, very early where Stefano is. So, yeah, we've dragged him out of bed.
Yeah, of course. It's only like 3 p.m. So.
Yeah, thanks for that, Stefano.
Dragged him out of bed.
It's okay. No worries. What else can I do at 3 p.m.?
So we've got a bunch of questions already coming in about price action here, people. But we want to talk to you about World Token first, okay? So hold your horses. That's the important thing here. So Lisa, do you want to just give us a little bit of background and maybe do sort of a handover with Benjamin here?
Yeah. So we've been promoting this on Twitter for a little bit. So it's an amazing project. And so it's an NFT marketplace. So, it sort of takes the place of down the line of Rarible and, products like that, sort of competing with, and anyone can put their art on World Token on their test net. So, and once there's a main net, then it's just going to be like epically huge. And that is not very far away. So, there's a lot happening there. And I think opening up the marketplace for, NFTs and that sort of thing is a really good thing. Sort of being very user friendly. I've had a look at the site and, it's really simple to use. So I think moving forward, it's going to be a huge platform for, sort of buying and selling.
Excellent. So should we address the elephant in the room first? The fact that we can't see you, Benjamin.
Yeah. So we're publicly anonymous because of safety and privacy concerns. I think a lot of people can relate to that. I do understand that with the number of exit scams in the space, it's a concern sometimes for people. That's also why at least I am. I represent the team, but I am KYC'd with our auditors at Solidity and Chain Salting. So in case there's anything that does happen, they're going to release my identification to the proper authorities.
Okay. Yeah, look, I mean, I've read some of your other interviews you've done on the topic, etc. Right. I do understand the rationale, so I'm not going to give you too much of a hard time on that, but I
appreciate it.
Bring it up. Okay, so do you want to just give us that high level sort of overview of the project and where it's currently at right now, and then we'll three of us will throw a few questions at you.
Sure. Yeah. So we launched the token itself the 30th of January. We listed on Uniswap, and then from there, about a week later, we added, the people were complaining about it's very high gas to trade for the token. So we created something like a gas workaround So it's about 20-30% cheaper than trading it on Uniswap. We had that audited, and then we went live with it about a week later. The week after that, we added support for Binance Smart Chain, so that also cut fees by about like 95%. And ever since then, we were working on the initial testnet. So right now, we've just released the testnet version on Rinkybi network. All the on-chain functions should be working. We've also deployed a testnet token so people can try it out. There we go. Yeah, so you're gonna go to testnet.worldtoken.network, and you should be able to see it.
Sorry,
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Did you want to share your screen, or I was?
Oh no, it's fine. You can
I
look
didn't
around
want to throw you
around.
off your speech there. That's all. I apologize.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are adding to the features that are live on the site so that people can test it publicly. Of course, while we're developing, we're testing it on our own sandbox version of the site. We have a channel where people can report technical issues. Right now, we haven't even optimized the site for mobile yet. So right now, just purely PC for now. Right. And then, yeah, over the next few weeks, we're going to be releasing more features of it. And once our version 1 is pretty much ready, we're going to go for a quick audit again with chain salting before we go live for mainnet. So hopefully we're looking at roughly 4 weeks, give or take. I mean, that could get shorter, that could get longer. You know how development goes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So tell us who is the market for this? I mean, I guess most of the people watching this probably are fully aware of what your project does, where you fit in the overall blockchain space. But maybe if you just want to touch on that for people that are interested, they were looking at investing in the company.
Yeah, of course.
Who's it for? Expand on that a bit.
All right. Well, right now, obviously the big thing that everybody is watching is the NFT marketplace. All right. So in the initial version, it's just going to be listing NFTs to be resold. Likely, it's going to be people making their own, or they're reselling NFTs from other existing NFT projects. And then obviously after that, we're going to want to add our own minting function so that people can mint their own NFTs on the platform without having to go anywhere else and then sell it right away. But the original idea for before we got into the NFT marketplace, the main side of the digital and later on physical marketplace would be that everything that's not NFTs, at least for now, everything would have to go through escrow, because there's already no chargebacks in crypto, so that protects the sellers. But the buyers, there's a lot of scams. I mean, it's crypto, So with the buyers, at least there's going to be escrow for pretty much everything. So up until the buyers release, they receive their ordered service or goods, they can choose to release or dispute a transaction, right? So it's added security, which I've noticed not many, or there are none existing of the other existing marketplaces that do escrow, which is rather surprising.
So with your product as well, had it audited by War on Rugs.
Yes.
How important is that to you to keep that updated?
Right now, our main issue with them is that they are incredibly backlogged. Yeah, we were in contact with Shappy, who's the owner of War on Rugs. And their whole team is very backlogged with a lot of projects trying to get audited, trying to get a shout. We would like to get the whole thing audited again by them once mainnet is ready.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, if it's going to cause a long delay, because the marketplace contracts they're quite longer than the token and the farming contracts. So if it adds too much time, we might do that down the line.
Yeah.
But for me, I think it's a minimum of one clear audit just to make sure that a third party sees that there's no exploits or security issues.
Yeah, no, I think that's very important for a lot of the Uniswap tokens and Pancake, products.
Yeah.
Pancake is going to flip.
Pancake swap. Yeah.
Such a stupid.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I love their logo, but every time somebody mentions it in the chat, it makes me want pancakes. I don't know.
I know it does, doesn't it? It's like I just laugh every time I have to part it or say it.
So Stefano, as a prolific investor in the space, and more importantly, somebody that absolutely has been a champion of the whole game, blockchain gaming, of NFTs, you got some questions for Benjamin at this point?
Yeah, quite a lot actually.
Please. Okay.
So let's start from like the value proposition part, because obviously like you're kind of like two paths over there on the description. The first one was obviously like the NFT part, the minting and all of that. And then obviously there was the unique selling part, which is obviously the digital items that are not the NFTs, but I can think about like, an item in a traditional game, for example, in World of Warcraft and so on. And I agree with you. There are no escrow. If I'm going like on eBay and so on, that's it's not the best experience ever from that side.
Yes, right.
But if I have to go back on the NFT part, I don't need an escrow from that. And your first starting part was obviously the mintable part and so on. So focusing on that part alone, if it's possible, because like it could also be that you're telling me, no, that's not what we're trying to do. But if we need to consider only the NFT part, considering that the sector of like the marketplace now, it's becoming quite populated, let's be honest. Why would I use something like Word instead of like, going for a more classic OpenSea, or even nowadays like Mintable with like their entire Mintable structure, like data, securities in place, server, and so on and so on? Why would I pick you compared to any of the other 50 platforms that there are?
Right. So on that front, if we're removing the whole escrow part, right? For the NFTs, the thing is every sale still does benefit from the token transactions. So every sale, every buy or sell rewards the merchants and the token holders with the 3% tax that gets redistributed to everybody as part of the reward. So whether you've already sold some NFTs or products or anything, or you're still waiting to sell, you're currently already earning bit by bit every day. Right.
That's fair, but that's like if I'm an holder of the token. Now, if I'm a user of the product, you're basically charging me 3% more than any other platform on the market. Why would I pick you and pay 3% more to help an ecosystem?
Wait, sorry, are you in this scenario? Are you a merchant or are you a buyer?
As a user, as a buyer in this specific case. So as someone that like, will go on OpenSea and just like surf things around, or go Mintable and surf things around, or, known origin, or you name it. Why would I actually surf here?
Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, so right now we are, it's mostly going to be the benefit of that one. But we're still working on partnerships to try to get exclusive NFTs on this platform to try to bring in an initial crowd.
Okay.
But up until we release those that information, I can't share much else.
Is the fee on the buy and the sell side, is that 3% tax on both sides of the equation? I'm pretty sure I read it was only on sell.
No, it's on every transaction. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Sorry, it was with the escrow in case something went wrong. I think.
No. So the escrow doesn't automatically take the 3% right away,
That's
because
right,
in the
yeah.
case of a refund, there's no tax on refunds otherwise.
So if you are you approaching big name artists to come on board and create NFTs on your platform?
Yeah, so we have several contacts who are real world artists. So yeah, once again, no names for anything, but yes, essentially that's going to be the initial push, is that we have similar to the NFT drops happening on other platforms. We'll have our own some exclusive ones as well.
Okay.
Can you tell the audience about how frictionless staking works? Because not a lot of platforms have that.
Yeah, sure. So for the holders that are opting for frictionless staking, all you have to do really is just hold it in your any ERC20 wallet. It doesn't show up as individual transactions on Etherscan, but once you purchase your tokens, or once you receive some tokens over time, as long as there's volume happening on transactions, transfers with everybody else, your own balance will continue to rise bit by bit. So you just have to hold. That's it.
Yeah, no, I have noticed that in my wallet that I do have more world tokens than I started with. So that's actually nice.
Stefano, any
Yeah,
additional
I would like to go back on the initial question before like we went on a completely different train. You mentioned that like you're planning of going like on mint your own things. Do you have like any idea of how that structure is gonna be, or not yet?
No, not yet, not yet. It's so the minting on our website is still going to be for about version 2. So it's too early to say right now. Yeah.
Fair enough.
How often? Oh, sorry, sister.
No, go for it. Not a
I was
problem.
going to say, how often are the tokens burned?
Oh, so the tokens, the burn address, we initially sent 1 million tokens to the burn address. So the burn address acts as a holder. So it shares in the same rewards that everybody else is receiving. So it shares a part of the 1% right now, and it receives over time.
Okay. So, yeah, sorry, Stefano, we're coming back to you there.
No, I mean, like if we want to talk about like the tokenomics, that's totally fine, because I think it's just gonna create confusion if you're talking about the product and going back on the tokenomics every single
Back
time.
and forth.
How about like we talk about the tokenomics? So you guys are happy. We talk about the token, and then once everybody's bored as hell, I'm gonna start talking about the product. Is that fair? So we're all on the same page.
No, go for it.
No, it's fine. It's really like, it's totally fine. Let's talk about the tokenomics. So here's the thing, because I have questions on the tokenomics as well. You mentioned that 3%. And you're obviously mentioning that that's like a selling point, obviously, because like, you know, there is that tax that is like being distributed to the user. And so it's very cool because it's like, you just have the tokens on the wallet. You got like your staking, your reward coming in, and plus there are the funds that are, you know, being like injected in the product. And so like you can redistribute that and so on. Going back to that initial question, I've seen quite a few products doing things like that unfortunately ending up being super low in terms of volumes at a specific point, because it seems that the system becomes more of like a grab part of the money from new users to distribute that as like a cheap to the old people that were in the product before. Do you have any idea of like how you're gonna avoid that something like that is gonna happen in the long run? Because I can tell you this, it will happen, because it happened in every single product that I've seen doing things like that. And so far, I didn't see anybody capable of like going against that model of like user being happy to pay that tax. Do you have like any trick for that? Any idea that like you think, you know, it's going to manage the community to be happy to pay that extra 3% compared to any platform that doesn't have that?
Yeah. So the thing about that is actually it's more of it's like a spiral going down and going up, right? The more volume, it's heavily based on volume. So as you did mention, a lot of the projects that have that same frictionless yield, the problem comes, and actually even the attraction comes with volume. So once the volume starts to hit low and people aren't seeing that much rewards, they don't see the value of paying, as you said, the 3%. They don't want to bother holding because they're not getting the rewards. And if prices either stagnant or decreasing, obviously jump ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
So but on that same end, once you see volume uptick, right? Especially usually if you're coming from a low volume period to coming into a high volume period, price also usually takes an uptick. People are happy again because once again the rewards are coming in, but the goal is to balance it, right? And that's why we do have, yeah. Sorry.
That explains the philosophy for the stakers. But if I'm a user, again, how do you get that 3%? You get that from every single transaction, right? So
Yes.
you do have the traders and the stakers. In reality, once the token is in the wallet, that's it. The staker doesn't do anything else, just get the rewards coming in every single day or every single transaction or whatever is the system there. But basically, like, the staker doesn't really do anything else once he or she bought the token and they are in the wallet. How do you feel, like, how do you feed that 3% is obviously like with the new people that are trading, and you either have like the people that are there for the 3% system, or you obviously have the people that are there for the marketplace that obviously are like, I actually want to use the token to, you know, buy NFTs, buy digital products, kind of like being part of that ecosystem. Now, the traders in the long run, they're going to end up on being dry because they're paying a 3% tax every single time. Yes, it's true. The demand and supply that you're describing is 100% correct. But the problem is that you always need new people to come in to feed that 3%. And in the long run, that's not going to happen because the volumes are going to like start going very, very low. And so that system is not going to work. Now, assuming that system is one thing, and it is what it is, the feed of the 3% can be survived, obviously, if the platform is in place. And so if people are using the platform. Yes. Now, the NFT part, according to what we are discussing, seems to be like, at least to me, maybe I misunderstood on this, but it seems to me that there is not a very strong competitive advantage compared to other platforms. The mintable things is not in place yet. It doesn't seem that there is like any killer feature in place. And on the other side, from the NFTs, you know, I have already platforms that I can use whatever type of tokens I want. I can have like, you know, different type of offers and so on. So we're a little bit limited right now on the NFTs part.
Yes.
Which we're left with the virtual tokens. So am I correct on saying that basically like the future of this product is really relating to the success of the escrow system on the physical, on the digital products that are not the NFT part? So weapons in traditional games, gift cards, songs that are like not minted as NFT, like that entire traditional segment of the industry, of the internet in general, is what can make or break the entire product. Am I correct on saying this?
Well, I would say that it's the main lifeblood of the transactions. Right. In terms of the minting, because I don't want to throw it out the window just yet, although it's not going to be part of version 1. I don't really see version 1 and version 2 being too far apart. Although, of course, that's relative, depending on, you know, how long you think it's too long, right? And you,
what is too long in your opinion?
Exactly, right? Because I'm looking at a month or two in 4 to 6 weeks in between releases. Obviously, in crypto, things are very fast. We get a lot of everybody wants things done every week. There's something amazing, right? So as for some people, a month or two may actually be too long. For some people, it may be quick, right? So on that end, I think we'll have to wait for the market to decide. But we are working on certain factors, right? So convenience, definitely, right? So minting in one place, right? Rarible charges about 3 million gas limit for minting your own token on an NFT. If you're using the Rarible token to mint an NFT, it's about 300,000 gas, I think. Right. So we're gonna. Well, one of the goals for our end is we're gonna try to beat that. One of the main things a lot of people are going for right now is fee reduction. So once we get our layer 2 in place, we got the minting in place, we got there's the lower fees in place. There's a lot to explore, and the team is very busy. I've seen a lot of other projects also looking into that space of possibilities. So version 1, for the most part, is to start it. It's just get it into place, right? Version 2, a few weeks later, that's where we'll start to really hit the gas on the competitive advantage as you're looking for. I mean,
that's fair,
that
but like
makes sense.
on the competitive advantage, like you mentioned, for example, the minting on layer 2. Now I could go on XDAI on Cargo Gem and mint thousands of NFTs for less than 1 cent today.
Right.
I cannot do that on Binance Smart Chain yet, but Blind Box is basically like just run an IDO, and they're basically going to do that for the Binance Smart Chain. Now, I'm not trying to like obviously saying that like that you cannot have like multiple players in the same market, but you're basically like telling me that this is like a unique value proposition when it's not, because there are already players doing this. So my entire point is really this. Like I'm trying to like understand. Let me oversimplify this a little bit. Can you make me falling in love with this project? How would you actually make me falling in love with this? Because right now I want to. I like this, but I'm not seeing that, and I know that it's my mistake. I know that I'm missing something here, because probably I don't have enough information and so on. But where is the unique aspects on this that I'm not seeing? That's the things that is like bothering me in the back of my head.
Yeah. All right. So the thing is we're very heavy on convenience. Right. I don't know if you've noticed on the website the tutorials for like really new people. Stuff like how to set up a MetaMask, right? Stuff like that. So for us, our goal is to really hit those the very new people. Convenience, what's this? Ease of use of the platform. I'm not sure if you also saw in the roadmap that we're also planning to put up a P2P exchange so that people can get their crypto from more traditional means without us going through the hoops of credit card processing and stuff like that. So for me, it's more of I'm not sure if you are very sold on the idea of convenience as a main what do you call this? Of convenience being the main push of a project or a company. But for me, I do believe in that.
I think that like if you get to that UX that really make the layer 2 experience without being a layer 2 experience, I'll give you an example. Like yesterday, yes. I onboard actually 2 people on the raffles of the Avagotchi website, and it's on Polygon.
Yeah.
So I basically had to spend a solid like 20-30 minutes on basically showing like how to install the specific RPC, sending a matic and this, and like all the steps to join the layer 2. So I completely agree with you. It's a pain. It's such a pain that it's an enormous wall for new people coming in the industry. And and I'm sold on this. What you say, I'm 100% on the same page on that. How would it work for a user? So because it's not available right now, but like
Yes.
make me imagine.
You're asking
this,
like the
this
flow,
thing.
right?
Exactly.
Yes,
Make
of
me
course.
imagine this.
Right. So you're a user. You hear about, let's say, collab drop of NFT from your, let's say, Nike does one, right? Just for all intents and purposes, let's say they do one, and you missed your spot in line. It was a raffle. Only, let's say, 5,000 people got in, but you really want it, right? You don't care about the price, right? But you've never gotten into crypto before, which is a lot of people getting into NFTs. That's exactly where they are. So you start to check where people are selling it. You see some people selling it on this world marketplace, right? You don't know how to buy it. According to them, you can pay in world tokens or ETH, which also a feature we're planning to add later on. So you get on the website, you find the how to buy world token button, right? So you can buy the NFT. You click on that. It brings you to a list of people who are selling world tokens with different payment methods. It could be local, could be international, such as gift cards and whatnot. You to pick a seller, right? The tokens go into escrow. But I mean, you either would or wouldn't notice that because not everybody has dealt with escrow before. So you see a live chat with the seller. They request payment. You send the payment over. You tell them to check, or you send a screenshot. You get tokens in your wallet, and then you're able to buy the NFT. Right.
Okay.
So you don't necessarily need very in-depth knowledge of exactly what happened in the background, ETH, gas, and all that stuff. You just get what you need, get what you want, and then you're pretty much done. That's the ideal, at least, right?
Am I correct on saying? Let me see
sure.
if I can stretch a bit like the similarity on this. You probably use NBA drop shot, isn't it?
Top Shot, yes.
Okay. Am I correct on saying that it's something like that, like in the sense of like you're visioning like this marketplace to be something like along those lines, where obviously instead of selling just like the drops, you have obviously multiple types of
everything
virtual
else,
items.
yes.
And you can both pay like in fiat, so in the same ways that on NBA you do that with your credit card, or in cryptos like in Word token if you already have them. Instead of having that 5% fees that goes to the company per se, in this specific case, you have the 3% fees that is being distributing among the token holders.
To the ecosystem, yes, pretty much.
Am I correct on this pretty much?
Yeah. That's a fair assessment.
Okay, cool. Then now it's getting interesting. See, because you're basically telling people now you can own a piece of something that is huge like NBA drop shot, and it costs less because instead of being 5%, it costs 3%. Now we can start seeing like the value proposition that are coming together in all of this. Okay. Lisa is clapping. Lisa's like, he's getting relaxed now.
My God, yeah.
Such a stress monster, Stefano.
It took a while for us to get to the point of understanding.
No, of course. I'm
very glad we're here, though. Yeah.
We've got him on because a lot of people are obviously asking the same questions that Stefano asked. So, they want to know why your product is so much better or different than others and why they should use it. So, it's like you say, going into a store and, you've got a wall full of, shoes, running shoes, and you go, I'm going to buy the Nikes over the Reeboks or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't mean to scare you as well, Benjamin. Stefano's a super user of blockchain, especially in the NFT and gaming space.
Although I do appreciate it's a little critical, I appreciate that. It reminds me of investor panels back in college.
We actually had Zach from Mintable on this channel a few months ago, and lo and behold, the guy from the Shark Tank has come in and invested in that company. So, clearly, obviously, understand why you're launching a project in this
Yes.
space. I mean, it's in my opinion, it's getting bigger. Yes, we could argue some of it's a little overcooked, maybe with on the art front in the NFT space at the moment. But that's somewhat
true.
neither here nor there. But we're talking about an infrastructure project with you guys.
Overcooked, John, though. It's not overcooked. We're only at the beginning. It's like what you see as overcooked, I see as opportunity.
Oh, yeah, I'm talking about the actual, like a piece of art that some guys made on Fiverr. Some of that stuff, I think, might be a little bit out of hand. But
some of
obviously,
that
World Token is an infrastructure project coming
Yeah.
into a space that's only getting bigger. So, yeah, I mean, on that note, I think you asked some great questions there, Stefano. I'm just sort of trying to wrap my head around exactly where you're at right now. I mean, obviously, there's a decent percentage of people watching this going, okay, I'm going to buy that token. Is it going to appreciate in value? We've got other people who are very passionate about, the NFT space and the usability of these platforms. Just trying to get my head a little bit clearer on your time frames here on the timeline. Because you give us any sort of significant dates coming up, where are you at right now exactly?
So right now we are still in the early alpha phase of the testnet. We still have features that we are still working on within the next few weeks. Every week, expect an update of new features to be rolled out. This week, actually, we're already updating the back end so that the loading times get better. It's a little bit of a smoother user experience. So even on testnet, we're trying to perfect it before we even go on version 1. Hopefully it doesn't take us too long. Given we've done everything we've done in about 2 months, I don't think it's going to take us too long.
Yep.
So yeah, very early stage right now. I would say between 4 to 6 weeks before we might see a mainnet version 1.
Okay. I'm just having a scan of these questions here as well. Lisa, are you doing the same?
Yeah, I was going to say, so can you,
go ahead, yes.
so obviously it's a test net. So artists can now upload their art to the test net. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's open for everybody. We've disabled the whitelisting for digital merchants, at least for the testnet, so that anyone can throw something up.
So where does that leave artists once the testnet's no longer and you're on a main net? And
Do I go live? Right. So on the testnet, we do have a button up top on the home browse app merchants. Right. So we want them to click on the merchants button. It'll lead them to a type form, and they can send us an application so that we can review, if they've had any previous sales before, stuff like that. And we can whitelist them if they pass our standards for a safer marketplace. We can whitelist them so that they're able to sell once we go live.
Okay. And how long does the whitelisting take once they apply?
Once they apply, we'll probably get back to them within the same week if we have a lot of volume. 1 to 2 weeks. We do have a few people who will help us on. Yeah.
Okay.
Question from the website. Sure. There is on the other session, there is that image of the sushi. Now, are we still on a virtual type of things, or the idea there is also to move into a physical type of things where I can literally buy some physical sushi that then is being shipped to my home? Is that an idea or just
actually, so phase 3 of the marketplace will move into physical. The reason why it's so late in the game to do physical items is because of anti-fraud. For me, fraud is a big piece of e-commerce that a lot of people usually ignore, and it takes down a number of companies because if it gets too bad, it really takes down a platform or a company itself. But yes, physical goods will come on later. I probably don't recommend sushi.
Fair enough.
Goods that will go bad.
So you could become the world token Uber Eats.
Well, we'll have to find a way to limit it to local deliveries.
Yeah, yeah. So you've got the app there and you go on and you can buy your food with world token. I've just created a new marketplace for you.
Also added about 6 months of more work.
Yeah.
Benjamin, tell us a bit about the team
Sure.
and your background.
All right. So my background is mostly I've helped. Oh man, actually, my background is I've helped run my family's business. I'm rather young, right? But my family has been running a 25-year-old business, so I've just been helping it on the side. Corporate wise, I worked in banking for a little bit, just in the treasury sector. So, I mean, that's why I'm in crypto now. So it fits a little bit of the bill, but yeah, I love this. I love this space.
So how do you see this project evolving? I've read some of the things where you guys talk in terms of really getting it to a point where it is completely decentralized, and you can step away from it. Where could you touch on that? I mean, I've read some of this is where you guys remaining anonymous, etc. You really want that decentralized marketplace. Yes, that is always going to have issues in the initial stages, but the longer term beautiful vision of something like that I think is just fantastic. So I'd like to understand that a bit more.
Sure. Yeah. So. You're familiar probably with the proof of staking concept with Cardano, right? And Ethereum is going to be adopting it too. So in terms of dispute, because I think the most centralized factors in the beginning is going to be dispute resolution, right? And policing, removing listings that are, maybe selling guns or stuff like that. We don't want any issues like that. So the end goal is to, since part of the tax goes to the development and marketing fund, that is going to be shifted into a proof of staking fund, something like that. Right, it's going to be a community police thing. Let's say we have 3,000 stakers in that pool. They have to lock up some of the world tokens to participate. As proof that they are active participants in the ecosystem, and of course to try to prevent some abuse of that system. But let's say you have 3,000 people in a pool who are actively trying to help out the policing, dispute resolution, stuff like that. And there's a dispute that comes up, and the system should take 29 random people from that 3,000 person pool to choose whether a dispute should favor the buyer or the seller. Right, that way, 29 people, obviously, because to break up a tie, around 30 is the minimum statistical figure for generating.
So that's kind of like the eBay refund policy, where you go, okay, I didn't receive my goods, but it actually came, and
Yeah.
So that person
again on the anti-fraud front,
okay.
But in a way that's completely community run.
Okay.
Are you sure about this? Like
I know it sounds very far-fetched, right?
No, it's not that. That's a thing.
No, all right, go ahead.
Aragon, to give you like an example, Aragon implement like exactly that for the dispute and the resolution. Now, there is an enormous issue on a system like that. It requires people to have a basic level of knowledge of the specific subject that we're talking about. Like, in order for me to define like who is right between A and B, not only I need to have the fact, but I also need to have a specific knowledge of the subject that we're talking about. Otherwise, it doesn't work. we see that like all the time with like conspiracy theory and all that the crap that
Oh,
goes around and so
yeah, I
on.
see what you're saying.
If I
Yes.
don't have a proper knowledge of the subject, then I just follow the louder bell, and therefore like I can be pushed in one direction or another. That's the first problem. The second one is the fact that you're assuming the willingness of the individual of participating in things like that. If you're looking, and that's one of the thing that I mentioned to the DMG chat, and look at what happened at that project. By the way, so one of the things is that you're assuming that people are willing to take an action and being participating in an activity and putting their time for the general benefits
For
of the
reward.
community, which is obviously what the governance of a token, like, those things imply. But when you're actually going and look in details on how many people are actually voting on those type of things and how many people in the community are actually doing those type of things,
yes.
you see that the number is completely different. Like,
Yes, of
it's
course.
your project, obviously. It's none of my business. Let's put that straight first of all. But
wouldn't there be some sort of like, say you've got that 29 people, there's a time limit. It's not like that person has to, it bounces to the next person. I'm
yeah,
sure
but then you have like 5 people left that are going to vote in time. And so your entire vote, it comes down to like few individuals, and the entire system
I think
collapses
when
down.
you are staking, you kind of know that if I do this, I get extra, staking. So a lot of people that are staking know that when they do certain actions like farming and that sort of thing, then they know that they're going to get extra tokens.
That would require that the treasury is big enough and is being like pushed on that 3% tax every single time, that there is actually enough tokens to distribute for those extra activities. At the beginning, you can't have that, basically, or you can have that at the beginning, and later on it will be the opposite.
Like every time you move or you buy and sell, there's a 3% tax. So so you are essentially moving the token around, and if you are holding them in your MetaMask, you are gaining tokens. So if you're on that list of people that are in that, for that 29 people coming in to vote on this issue, and there's, say it just bounces through, like there's you're asleep and you don't get that in time and it goes to the next person. So there's, you've always got that 3% tax sort of going around.
Yeah, but that system means that like people might actually do that, but you cannot enforce or ensure that they're actually going to pay attention on the problem. You can tell me like, Stefano, would you give a right or a wrong to A or B? I give you $1,000. I can tell you like A, and you're looking at me and you're like, why A? And I'm like, I don't know, give me my $1,000. Who cares? Why would that be my problem? Why? Who cares if he's like?
I do have a question. You mentioned project DMG, right? Did they just implement it and leave it be, or did they have a phase where they were?
They implemented that in a way that like they were expecting the community to vote on decisions on like which assets to bring on board, if they wanted to like change percentage, like all of those things. And that thing never really went anywhere, to be honest. Then after that, the issue with like the project collapsing down is not because of like that specific part. It's because like they were like reselling securities, thinking that it was a utility token, which obviously it wasn't. But
which very much ties into where I was sort of going with that. Finding that holy grail of a completely decentralized situation here. Yeah, it is difficult. That's what we're talking about here.
That's the thing. Like the idea of the decentralized part is super cool. I agree with you. Like prediction markets goes exactly when I've been like a smart contract making decisions like that. AI, deep learning, all of those things are actually on that strategy. Obviously, it saves a tons of R&D to go like with you throw the problem to the community because the community is there, because that's what you're building is a decentralized application. But really making that assumption, I've never seen a project implemented that right at this time. And all the like, it turns out that nobody's using that. But the problem is that like in a marketplace like this, for sure you're gonna have complaint. For sure.
Oh, like, sure. Absolutely. I guarantee that. Yeah, that is the one guarantee with this. There's gonna be people who are going to try to one up other people. There's gonna be people who are going to complain with completely ridiculous assumptions.
for sure.
Of course. Right. We are on the same page on that. But this whole decentralization thing, I don't want it to become this whole. It's not yet the start of the show. That's going to be far in the future. Once again, that is also what I would say far in the future could be a different thing to somebody else. But for me, what I want to see most is ease of use, adoption, before I even consider something like fully autonomous decentralization. That's the goal, but it's not something we're rushing toward. We're not running to it, and I would hate to do that because I think if you rush things, especially with something as critical as that, dispute resolution, it can absolutely kill the project extremely early. Right.
Yeah.
So I wanted to interject and say that. Sorry. Excuse me. I just wanted to, because it's kind of heating up with this, right?
Yeah. So with the community resolution as well, there could be, obviously this isn't developed and it's an idea. So,
Right.
there could be an application system for that in place where you go, okay,
Yes.
I'm staking. This is what I'd like to do, and I'd like to be an active participant in this community. So, and that does build that community up, that you've got people that are, interested and have, some sort of viable interest because they're getting rewarded for it in making the community safer.
Yes. Right. So there's other projects like the projects that reward tokens for tasks. They do stuff like there's a little quiz that you have to take before you're allowed to do certain tasks for specific projects. We can do something like that per category, especially what Stefan mentioned about in-game items, right? Not everybody understands that you can fake giving in-game items in certain games, stuff like that. And we can also implement, you have to have been, this wallet has to have held or been part of the community or done certain things to qualify to even be a dispute resolution member. There's a number of things we can take from existing marketplaces, payment processor solutions such as PayPal. They've done pretty good on they have this merchant whitelisting algorithm, right? You have to be with them for like 3 months minimum, sold a minimum of like $1,000, stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff we can look into and learn from, honestly, both in traditional finance and e-commerce and the upcoming stuff like DMG, Effect AI, all those things. So there's a lot more. Yeah.
So with the PayPal system as well. So when you go to the PayPal resolution, you do go up through tiers. So it's not just I say you shouldn't get it and I don't care and I'm going to get my $1,000 or whatever you get. It's like it is a tiered platform where it goes, okay, I don't like the response I got. I'm going to escalate that. So, there is, always, and I'm sure World Token are going to look into that a lot more.
Yes.
Looking at some of the questions in the chat, sort of
these things are like 2 weeks. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's 2 months in, so it's very, very early.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just reading those comments at the moment, so I just want to clarify the video.
I think it's like they've come such a long way in 2 months. We have to just put that in perspective here. That they launched at the end of January. They started this project, and we've got a test net, and we're about 4 to 6 weeks away from a main net. So, that's a lot of work in such a little space of time. True. So I get what you're saying, Stefano, but it's like you've got to look at the zoom out and have a look. This is 2 months into this project.
Of course, but that's exactly my point. Like if you're looking at what it's available now, we got like the beta test of the platform and the token, which for a trader like you, it's the chart. But for someone that looks at fundamentals like me, it's like too little. Like I want to know where this is going like in a year from now, in 5 years from now. If I enter in a project, I don't flip that after a week because I do like a 2, 5, or 10x. I keep that for years and years. That's kind of the main point on that. So exactly because of that reason, I want to see like how sure or how much research in the future has been done on things, and actually where the possible failing points are. And more than that, like having questions like these that obviously you don't have an answer. You can actually tell me like, dude, what the heck are you talking about? Like, it's being around for 2 months. I don't know what is going to happen in 5 years. But the way that like the way of thinking of these type of things helps understand if actually you're someone that, you know, you can handle, in this specific case, my money. And then like in the same way that people that are listening at that point, you know, it comes down to that. It's all like part of like a due diligence process that people do exactly because the project is so new at this point.
Yeah. And that is the difference between trading versus hodling. So in this industry, it's like, you know, and a lot of the projects that I do trade for a long time, I look at all the fundamentals, and that's, you know, that's why I bring the projects to the show here. It's like, you know, we've seen a lot of these projects, and you're saying, you know, 10x, but I'm going for the big money. So that's why I look at new little projects and I go, this has got a niche market, and I think, you know, this is going to move forward. You know, I know NFTs is a very saturated market, but I really like the way that World Token are doing things and, you know, moving forward and achieving things, and, you know, 3% versus the 5% tax and that sort of thing, sort of moving forward.
I mean, look, you know, we've brought up that longer time frame. What is that big vision in 5 years?
Can you do 5 years?
Well, that's the thing,
at this
right?
point?
We don't necessarily know if what kind of protocols we'll have in 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, that's like getting a crystal ball in crypto and going, hang on a sec, this is, you know, we've got this happening and we've got robots doing all the, you know, data input and, you know, so much AI. And yeah, I really don't think you can look 5 years into the future into crypto. So a month in crypto is like 10 years.
We're going to be back in bear market in 5 years, Sean. What are you talking about?
Yeah, enjoy the bull market while you can, Sean.
I've done the hard yards in this industry, bear markets, no doubt about that. But yeah, look, I mean, I think you're clearly operating in a sector that is just getting bigger and bigger. You know, but part of the reason we do our fundamental show is to, you know, really try and wrap our heads around exactly where are we at. You know, that then sort of ties in with the whole technical analysis shows and so forth we do.
Right.
So, you know, I think, you know, really trying to establish where you guys are at, why somebody would buy that token right now. You know, that's very much what this sort of chat today is about, but we'd certainly love to have you back on in the coming weeks with us. We've reviewed many projects, you know, in gaming and NFTs. I think that Stefano, how many things have you got for sale at the moment, as an example? And on how many platforms?
Well, this morning alone, I bought a pack on NBA Drop Shot. I flipped some land on the Sandbox via OpenSea. I bought a node on Gala Games. I flipped a couple of XC on X Infinity, and I sold the land on XC.
Today.
And that was like today. So,
so essentially that's just trading, but in a different way. So you're
pretty much, yeah.
So you're an NFT trader, whereas I'm just like a traditional trader.
Oh, sorry. I'm also like running a node on Nine Chronicles, which is another game as well. So yeah. That's my point. Like, this industry is, you know, we're getting to a point where like I'm starting seeing a lot of like re-eating soup that are happening. And that's unfortunate. Like, it's kind of like that goes from 2017. You know, everybody was doing ICO, and bam, everybody was redoing the same thing over and over. I saw that a little bit with the DeFi FOMO into Binance Smart Chain. I know that a lot of people that are watching made a lot of money. Good. You are good. Don't worry. This is not an attack on you. It's just not my bread and butter. But here's the thing. There is so much more that needs to be done in the space. You mentioned one thing, like that in phase 3, you want to go on physical trading, basically on physical exchange of NFTs and so on. If you nail that, and I'm telling you, you're going to go like into one of the most complicated thing ever, because it's not really the verification of the transfer. The problem is the storage. If I'm selling a bottle of wine or a bottle of whiskey that is 20 years old, and I'm paying like $50, $60, $80,000 for something like that, I need to be 100% sure that that thing is in proper condition. And if that is not done properly, I can sue you as a platform. Yes, you can be decentralized, but that's one of the reasons why you want to be anonymous. But if it's $800,000 is one thing, 80,000 is a thing. If you start having like a Beeple sales style, 69 millions and so on, trust me, I'll bring you to court no matter what. So that is going to be like
but stuff like that happens in real life. That doesn't happen virtually.
Exactly.
Right? It's an in-person thing. Yeah.
But that's my point. If you nail that part, like if you're capable in few years' time in the future to get into that, and you become the platform for the exchange of the physical aspects, that you get NFTs plus physical item,
but
you're sitting on a quadrillion-dollar industry.
Wouldn't that be like what we saw with Beeple, and we saw Christie's and that get involved? You know, so you're bringing in that traditional sort of art and into the NFT. So,
yes, correct.
You know, I don't see an issue with that happening.
No, that's a good thing. The issue is that like if shit hits the fan, there are lawsuits that are going to happen to all the platforms.
You've got an external company verifying that before it goes on. So if it's an 80,000 or a 800,000 bottle of wine, it goes through some sort of verification process before it gets there.
And that's fair. But if you're taking examples of like, you can buy like a physical stamp on OpenSea right now, that, you know, there might be like 50 years old, 100 years old, whatever the thing is. 100%. Nobody's doing a proper check on those things, because OpenSea doesn't target that market.
That's the same as selling on eBay. It's a buyer's risk.
Yeah, I think once you're doing stuff like that, that's your responsibility also as a buyer. Yeah. And in the eyes of a court, that wouldn't hold up, that you would just sue a platform because you didn't do your own due diligence. At least here in the Philippines, that's exactly what would happen.
If the information provided in the platform is misleading.
That's like
if it's misleading.
eBay.
Well, but that's exactly the point. There are class action done on eBay, and eBay had to pay them. Like, that's exactly the point. These things are not like crazy. But apart from like the difficult part of like the problem, the main point of that conversation is that if you figure out a solution to nail that part, you won the jackpot on that. Because that's exactly all the entire sector of the NFTs that right now everybody are talking about, that is going to be the future, and nobody is cracking the equation on that. And you have the forward thinking that you want to go into that direction, you know, the gift cards, the items in game, the things that are not NFTs. You want to get on like the exchange of the physical items in phase 3. You mentioned this. If you are making the physical exchange being like rock solid on the storage, on like, you know, you might have like an extra add-on where like I can send you the physical item, you store that for me in good condition, so I know that it keeps safe and everything, and I pay you extra for that, and then like it's being sold at one point. Like when you start creating like a premium pack offer on something like that, you become the first platform on doing that right. You win big time at that point.
Agreed. Yeah, but you know, right now, that's quite some time away. On the other side as well is anyone can come in and offer that service, because there are services that do similar things to that, right? So you know, right now, you know, I hope you don't take that the wrong way, but that's not something in the near future. I'm really considering right away, right?
Yeah, I think we're 2 months into this project, and we need to focus on. We've got a main net coming. We've got a test net here, and it's 2 months in. Yeah, these are all things that
In a
can.
bull market, you've probably got months of a skyrocketing token price with this particular sector of the
Yeah.
blockchain space and where we're currently at in the market cycle. I mean, I'm reading some of these notes about did they launch at the right time here? I'm like, fuck yeah. Come on. So yeah, I mean, but we'd love to obviously stay in touch with you and have you back on the show on the regular, because you are just rolling this out now. I think we could definitely have some fun conversations here. The style we're our panel is always a little bit different in our levels of knowledge in the different sectors in the blockchain space. Stefano loves to ask direct questions. I hope nobody. I've done some of the chat here was appreciating that. A couple of others were like, "Well, it's a bit harsh," but I don't think so. I think they were good questions. I think you answered well. On that note, do you have any other questions, Stefano?
No, I think that that's I say that from the beginning. Like, I like the project. But I want to be sure that it's not all smoke. That's the thing. So
Of course,
don't take that personal in any possible way. I'm not trying to be like a dickhead or anything like that. But I like to be sure that there is real substance behind things. That's
yes, of course. Actually, once we get further into the project, a few months in, if we could all get back together, that would be awesome. I think.
Absolutely.
You want another grilling from Stefano?
Well, I want to see how his stance may have changed once we get more stuff out.
Yeah, no, that's actually a really good thing to do, I think, when he can see that there's real progress. And I just want to keep saying this is 2 months in, not even, to this project, and it's got epic development, and they're hitting all their goals and their targets. So when you're looking at a roadmap and you're investing and it's early days in something, that's what you want to be seeing. It's like you want to be seeing that they're hitting targets and they're planning for the next. So as much as we can get our crystal ball and look 5 years into the future, this is what I'd like to see. Right at this point of time, 2 months, we're hitting targets.
Yes.
Come back on
Absolutely.
and place 1, 2, once live, whenever you want, basically.
Yes. Of course.
I was saying to Benjamin off camera, our other show, 1 Bitcoin and 32 Ethereum, where we're really going out there and trying to use as many of these projects as possible. We've been. Axie was one that was sort of, I guess, the first project where we really dug in deep, and we're still doing that 9 months later now. So I think there's a great opportunity here with you guys to really follow your progress. It's certainly a sector of the blockchain space that we cover extensively. So yeah, I mean, we'll be checking in and seeing how it's all going without a doubt. Lisa will be getting the charts up on a Monday to see how the price is going.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be fascinating. So, do you want to sort of give us any closing thoughts, Benjamin? Anything you think we didn't ask you, or you want to get across to the audience?
I think I'm good. There were definitely some good questions, very interesting questions, actually. I think, for now, we focus on development, right? We do one step at a time. We get things rolling. We get that convenience factor in, right?
Okay. Excellent. Lisa, anything in closing from you?
No, I think I've said just before that I think it's a really viable product long term if they keep hitting their targets, which they're doing, and that's something that I look at. So if they start missing continuous targets as a trader, that's when I would stop trading it. So, and at this point we are nailing all of those, and I think it's a really viable product at the moment.
Okay. Anything in the chat, people, before we wrap up here? Anything we didn't cover that you'd like to know about? I guess not. But yeah, I mean, I think we've been over everything here. So listen, Benjamin, thanks so much for your time. As I say, if you want to just hang with us quickly now, we can have a bit of a chat about following your project on our channel. Moni Ven's looking for a job with you. Get in touch with Moni. But I think there's a few people here putting their hands up that want to come and work for World.
Yeah, I'm seeing you now.
Start a recruitment channel, I think. Yeah, so look, exciting times. I mean, you're certainly in a fantastic sector. Timing couldn't be better. I wish you the best of luck, and we'll definitely be following you closely, won't we? Excellent. Okay.
All right. Well,
Thanks,
you guys are
everybody.
welcome to join us.